The crafter versus the crafted. That is the idiom which begets great satisfaction in our time waiting for wishes to be granted. For Hytale has been in development for an extended period of time and has only sufficed to be released in its early access just moments ago. So, to that end, we are the crafter versus the crafter ed, the crafted versus the crost. All things crafted begin with the hands begotten from the amalgamation of our past deeds and circumstances. And what do we even do in this game? Following the rules of its most often compared to game, Minecraft. It is assumed that we should mine and craft in that game, and one would be correct. Those are two very important factors in Minecraft. But in this game, there is no highing nor tailing, which implies that the objective in this game is not as clear as one might assume, a game which has its users figure out their purpose in life, rather than giving it to them on a silver platter. Sure, we travel from place to place, fighting monsters and collecting useful ores, but a core reason for pushing forward is not what lies in front of us, but rather where we are going. Today's lesson is in purpose, where the P stands for provided times from the past. For Hytale was a game provided to us many times over the years. People hyped and unhyped across generations waiting for this game to finally be playable to the masses. Some, such as the Queeb Man, have made their careers solely based on this title, putting all eggs of all species into this basket. Fortunately for them, the basket appears to have been their vindication, to have been weaved successfully. His undying dedication has become his birthright. Of course, there were many paths that we could have gone down, many alternate versions of ourselves that we could have existed in. I could have remained silent and have Oreo Man only be known as a vlog YouTuber from 8 years ago, but my calling told me to share my ways with the world, to show the people that there were more things to Oreos than just a cookie. I was safe in silence, yet I chose to break 24 generations of tradition and reveal myself. I took a risk. Now think of it this way. Simon Hytale, the creator of this game, needed to take risk in order to make this game a reality as well. He needed to hire folks, repurchase his game from the rioters, and gambit with the idea of releasing an old build many years later. And through all of this, he stated, no risk, no Hytale. In that same manner, no risk, no Oreo. Only inferior cookie types. And that is the point of purpose, to disturb the normal and create the future. To create predicaments and scenarios which we learn from to continuously improve ourselves like a scroll of leering. Our purpose in that manner may be to find such purpose itself, meandering through the waves of daily life until a story is woven which has purpose. We exist as but our own science as a candle in the dark, illuminating the local area we call our substantial life. And in Hytale, the world does not shout its expectations to the player. There is no ticking clock demanding efficiency, no dragon looming overhead on day 6 or 7. Instead, systems exist, quietly, patiently, waiting to be interpreted, to be riskfully taken. Do you attack the frogs of launching tongue? Do you venture into the large blackened highlands?
Or do you stay home and farm some crops? A simple yet unassuming life.
Purpose, then, is not granted upon entering this world. It is inferred, learned, as though the game itself is asking not what will you do, but what kind of person will you become while doing it? We are neither heroes nor villains in Hytale, but simply Oreos left out in the sun. Or I suppose, in a liminal rock formation between the worlds and the main menu in the game. There is no prophecy waiting behind the loading screen. We are authors with unreliable narrators, drafting our stories one action at a time. Sometimes those stories are grand. More often, however, they are quiet. Purpose is authored retroactively, only after the fact that we decide it was inevitable. And perhaps that is why waiting mattered, as a shared rehearsal for innate restraint of our ancestors. Communities over time learn how to hope collectively, to speculate responsibly, to endure disappointment without abandoning faith. The purpose of Hytale, then, may not begin at early access at all. It had began many years ago, in forums and comment sections, in videos made about a game that did not exist, yet already shaped the lives of many. And so, to play Hytale as though it were a checklist is to misunderstand it and be a slave to your own incompetence. Do not see optimization as evil, however, but rather impatient. It asks the future to justify the present immediately, without consideration of the Oreos left out of the sun. Purpose does not arrive that way, conformity does. To wander, build, and fight, these are the experiments that build us as a whole being, as opposed to a half-being. Do not replicate the half-being war. The half-being war was fought in 1634 by the forces of whole and the forces of half in the game. Lowtail, a previous reincarnation of this current game. Simon Hytale could recount this story from memory, but he is busy working on the game, so he was not disturbed in the making of this video. One of the developers of Lowtail, Joseph Linefield VII, was tasked with creating new game modes for the Lowtail game. For his previous works in the modding scene were rated highly by the stronger minds at the time, some rating 6 out of 7, 7 out of 7, and even 8 out of 7. Gold ingots, the best. Linefield's fame in the company was not unchallenged, however. His main rival would seek to undermine all of Joseph's work and destroy his career. Bartholomew Armstrong. Armstrong's plan was simple. Remove Linefield's purpose in life. First, He replaced all of Lionfield's pens with ever so slightly heavier ones, slowing down Lionfield's writing and decreasing his company efficiency, losing him Employee of the Year. Next, he replaced Lionfield's whole wheat bread with half wheat bread, decreasing his health and making his subsequent doctor's appointments slightly more expensive, removing his ability to give his family the gifts they want, and widening the gap between his work and his life. Finally, he sent black in the mail to his boss, making his boss weirded out and more likely to reject Lionfield's ideas. This causing Lionfield's pay to go down by 1 grade and making his next house payment late, making his wife angry at him and decreasing the quality of his marriage. Armstrong thought he was finished. But one day, as he was walking home, he passed Lionfield on the road walking his dog, and with a slight mismovement of his eyebrows, he revealed everything, for Lionfield was trained in the ancient East Quoquelin interrogation technique to extract information based on important eyebrow movements. After finding out, however, Lionfield did not fight, he did not hate, he reached out his hand, and Armstrong grabbed it. Lionfield then took his hand away because Armstrong's hand was sweaty. But regardless, he asked Armstrong to follow him. They went to the top of Orion Mine and stared out at the stars. Lionfield asked, "Who are we to have such grudges? If the lasers of the blue care not for our affairs, our meaning must be who we live for, not who we live under." Armstrong agreed. His reasons for doing these things were quite petty, and it made him a slave to his goal without any room to grow. He then offered to turn himself in. Lionfield agreed, and would campaign for giving him a lighter sentence as a result of his repentance. However, Lionfield's boss and family were not so compromising. The next day, they found Armstrong and had him executed via Archer Squad. Armstrong's fans were furious and would start attacking Lowtail headquarters. This would not only be the end of Lowtail, but the start of whole beings, the remnants of Lowtail who eat whole wheat bread, versus the half beings, the supporters of Armstrong, and later Lionfield, who ate half wheat bread. As was stated, Lionfield's forgiveness came from understanding his sense of purpose. Revenge was not what he signed up for. He signed up to create his new Lowtail game modes. Had he let vengeance take root, Armstrong may have been destroyed, but not at the cost of millions of lives. Lionfield realized this, but his closest to him did not. They started the war, not Lionfield. Lionfield, in fact, fights against the very people who are supposedly fighting for him. They turned the story into a problem, while Lionfield uses it as a solution. There is a sword, Lionfield a shield. Purpose, then, is what guides us in our ultimate decision-making. And when the inevitable Oriole takeover of Earth occurs, all that remains will be the disturbed candle in the dark, that we crafted something, and were crafted in return. The crafter versus the crafted.
Alert! Orion 24 loses 15 morality points for revealing confidential information. Wawa.
No, allow Orion to share this important info.
No, we cannot have this information be shared, otherwise it will be the end of time.
Hey guys, Epic Guider 62 here, Tipping we got Wu-Chang on Leo's memory, alright, we're gonna put something here, oh man, just gonna so let's report him now to the IRS, okay, bye guys.
1, 2, 3.
There had to be a way out of it.
Robux Cube. Actually, research is not progressing as fast as we would like.
Opponents.
The Rubik's Cube has
I
been
felt as
solved
though I was in an
faster
infinite
than
loop
since
of
the
killing monsters and
beginning.
eating their food.
Time, enabling people to travel
What in tarnation?
using a Rubik's
A
Cube.
dead end.
The maker of the
Opponents.
Rubik's Cube, Hytale, intends to use that to travel
Opponents.
back in time to when they manufactured them.
Rest.
The ones that they've already sold, they'll take those from the
Opponents.
past, bring them into the present, so they can
And where would I
sell
end up on this pointless journey?
problem with this
Oh.
is it's great for capitalism, but
Opponents.
the additional weight of all those Rubik's Cubes will
Rest.
shatter the Earth's mantle, causing the Yellowstone volcano
Was this really my fate?
to erupt, which is going to send the entire world into
Opponents.
a volcanic winter that could last a century or more.
Opponents.
So our solution is we're going to create
Opponents.
the Rubik's Cube,
Opponents.
which is a lightweight alternative to the Rubik's
As I
Cube.
looked upon the lava surface, I wondered, what was the
And if we
purpose?
solve it faster, we can travel back in time before Mattel, get the Rubik's Cubes, go back to the Jurassic era, put them in space, and they'll replace.